representatives in Congress following up and saying, where did every penny go? To me, that's a good steward of someone's tax dollars. A good steward of someone's tax dollars is not a pie in the sky, let's do cash for clunkers. But let's not put any parameters around that to make sure that they purchase American-made cars. There's no thought process anymore. And I really, truly believe the reason being is that we have less than 10% of our congressional leaders have ever owned and operated a business. They've never felt the pains of realizing, do I make my house payment or do I make my payroll? How do I do more with less? They've never managed multi-million-dollar businesses or business units and had to sit down with the board of directors and explain, here's exactly where I'm going to spend this money. Here's exactly why I need this money. Please, can I have it? Guess what? Our representatives should be coming back to us and saying, here's exactly what we've done with our money. But instead, we do a $787 billion stimulus package that, by the way, has grown to 852. Where was the approval on the jump? Yes, it's an open spending policy. And right now, they're still moving forward with it, even without a budget. How do we as a nation defend spending without a budget? They say that we're about 40% of GDP right now. We're much higher than 40% of GDP. And we're in the process of bailing out Greece. When is it, and who will bail out the United States? Because I'll tell you, there's not going to be anyone lining up to bail out the United States. And I refuse to allow my children and their children to be indentured servants to someone else and for services that were meant for me. It's just morally wrong. It truly, truly is. We also have a problem, and you brought the Arizona immigration law. You know, I commend the mayor, or sorry, the governor of Arizona for what she did. I was born in Mesa, Arizona, so I'm like, woohoo, hoo-ah. I like this woman. But it's appalling to me. The Attorney General of the United States got on CNN, got on all the media, what an awful bill, it's unconstitutional, it's this, it's that, until the Texas representative called him onto the House floor, and in a congressional hearing, he had to answer that he hadn't read the bill, and he hadn't even been briefed on the bill. And the bill is 17 pages.
That's double-spaced.
Yes, double-spaced, you're right.
10 pages,
yes,
double-spaced.
exactly, double-sided, you could have done it even worse. But what happened? Where did the disconnect come into play?
That's what we sent up there.
That is exactly
We
what we
wanted hope
sent
and
up.
change.
Well, it's
That's
time
what we
for the
got.
right kind of change, because I know that in District 4, we used to be the shining jewel. And now as I go out and canvass and I talk to business owners and I knock and talk to residents, it's not hope that we're feeling, it's fear and hopelessness. People don't think that tomorrow is going to be better than today. And that has to change. I remember as a kid, what was the Yes I Can, the rubber tree plant song. Oops, here goes another rubber tree, right? Yep. You know, we used to sing songs like that. We used to, stand up and be patriotic and actually, salute the flag and all these things. But where did that go? When did it become okay not to be proud to be American? It's got to change. We do need change. But we need the right kind of change. We need to hold our representatives accountable, and you do that through the voting process, and you also do that through term limits.
Right.
We have to have term limits. It wasn't meant to be this way. So we need term limits. And our representatives must be good stewards to our tax dollars. It is the federal government's role to create the infrastructure of success for the private sector. It is never the government's role to compete with and take over the private sector.
Right.
It's the federal government's role to secure our borders and to protect this country.
Right.
It is not the federal government's role to invade the rights of the state because the federal government refused to actually implement process. We have so many crises going on right now that it's just amazing to me. You even look down to the BP oil spill.
We were on it on day one.
Yeah. Here we have an oil spill that if we actually would have implemented our processes and our laws and had oil burners down at the Gulf, we could have taken care of the issue. But even the federal government did not have the proper equipment that they voted on and made law. And now they want to do this.
Right.
Well, yeah, you know what? There is some fault with the three companies, but they also need to be doing this. It is their fault as well. And I commend Congressman Tom Price for calling for an investigation on this oil spill.